Awesome day for football here in Cincinnati. 64 degrees at kickoff time. Bengals won the toss and they've elected to receive. Meanwhile, Chan Gailey and the Bills coming off their first win of the season, 14-12 at home last week against Detroit. On the other sideline, Marvin Lewis is still scratching his head, looking to snap this 6-game skid, and they're coming off a 23-17 loss at Indy 1 week ago. 24th meeting between these two teams. Buffalo leads the series 14-9, and we're underway from Cincinnati. Caldwell from the 5-yard line to the 30, spinning all the way up to the 38. That's a 32-yard return, and the kicker, Ryan Lindell, had to bring him down. So, coming on the feet, Carson Palmer. His numbers last week, close to 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he threw 3 picks, and he was sacked 3 times. However, he's thrown at least 2 touchdown passes in 6 straight games, and Stevie's trying to figure out how to use all these weapons.
Yeah, they're going to do a lot of shifting and motion. You see here right from the very beginning, they shift out, trying to confuse a Bills defense that has yet to play consistently enough to win football games.
First down and 10 at the 38-yard line, and a whistle on
and
first down.
Right there, Gus.
False start. Offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
That's rookie Jermaine Gresham, and this has been exactly what's happened to the Cincinnati Bengals this entire season. They've done it to themselves from the first play from scrimmage. They get a false start after getting a shift on a simple running play. Marvin Lewis has got to be just beside himself. It's exactly the problem that has taken this from a championship, a division-winning team, down to a 2-6 offense.
So instead of 1st and 10, 1st and 15 at the 33. They pitch it. Benson over the left side of the block. Benson down the sideline, out of bounds. At the 45 for Cincinnati, they rank 15th overall in the NFL. 8th in passing, 26th in rushing.
Yeah, you look at this. Andrew Wentworth, the left tackle, 6'7", 335 pounds, a second-round draft pick out of Louisiana State, makes his 64th straight start for the Bengals front line. For the backs and receivers, you heard about him, Jermaine Gresham. He needs only 4 catches to set the rookie tight end receiving record. With a few more, he may set the wide receiver record, or receptions by a tight end. It's held by Chris Collinsworth.
Second down and 3 at the 45. Palmer dropping back to pass to the sideline, incomplete. And Palmer knocked down as he released the football. Defensively for Buffalo, ranked 26th in the league, 7th against the pass, 32nd dead last against the run.
And you heard it in the open. Kyle Williams, every opponent knows where this guy is. He's the guy they mentioned is playing an absolutely outstanding game of football every week. And Paul Leslie is the linchpin of a linebacking core that has really stepped it up in the past month. They're the reason the Bills defense has improved so much. And of course, Leotis McKelvin, the cornerback, starting for Terrence McGee. Now McGee is live and active today, will play, but McKelvin gets the start.
Third down and 3 at the 45. Brian Leonard in the backfield. Here's Palmer to throw it to the sideline. Ocho Cinco with a catch, turns it up, gets down the sideline and out of bounds. First down. Dante Whitner there to usher him out of bounds, but it's a gain of 9 yards.
Well, Chad Ochocinco knew that he was going to get a lot of #1 coverage today, which is, as you see it right there, that's Drayton Florence one-on-one with him, and he hasn't seen too much of that this year. He's been the guy between him and Terrell Owens who has drawn the double coverage most of the year, and his numbers will reflect that.
So a first down for Cincinnati, opening drive at the 46-yard line of Buffalo. Cedric Benson returns to the backfield. Palmer, straight drop, steps up in the pocket, incomplete. Owens the intended receiver, and he's looking around. Jarris Byrd covering. He felt that he may have been detained by Byrd.
Well, it might have happened earlier in the route, but it certainly didn't happen at the end of it. Watch here, he's going to take the deep cross, gaining, and you see there just a little tug right there. You're not going to get that call. That's a good no call by the official at the top of the route. Byrd really didn't gain an advantage by touching Owens the way he did. That was well defended.
Second down and 10 at the 46. Benson stumbles forward, gets to the 39-yard line. Paul Leslie brings him down as he gains 6 yards.
Yeah, the Bills came with a blitz from the secondary, sending the safety in to the backfield, just missed the tackle for no gain on Benson as Benson steps out of it and gains 6. Bills taking some chances in the early going, got a hit on Palmer early, and also sending a secondary blitz there on a second down play.
Ryan Leonard back in the game. Ocho Cinco at the bottom of your screen. T.O. up top. Palmer steps up, wants to run it. Carson Palmer with a lot of room and slides down inside the 30. A 10-yard scramble for a first down Cincinnati.
And this is a pressure. You see as Puzlesny comes in, forces Palmer out of the pocket. Good coverage in the secondary. The Bills knew that they were going to have Puzlesny on the blitz, so the secondary really squatted on all the routes. Palmer couldn't get rid of it quickly because of the coverage, but got the good gain with his feet.
From the 31, first down. Benson lining up as a receiver at the top of your screen. Empty backfield for Cincy. Underneath, ball caught. Beautiful throw. And a nice catch. And that's Gresham, the rookie tight end. Picks up 15 big ones. Another first down Bengals. Well, Reggie Torbor with the tackle.
Chris Kelsey got a big hit on Palmer. Watch as Palmer releases it. Kelsey nails him, but not before Palmer can get the completion to Gresham. Right there, you see it, and that's not something you want. Chris Kelsey really going right underneath Dennis Roll in the right tackle for the Bengals. Great pass rush for the Bills.
16-yard line for Cincinnati. So they're in the red zone, first down. They hand it off. Benson breaks it back, and they will ride him all the way down to the 10. Reggie Torbor leading the way, a 6-yard pickup. And Cedric Benson's numbers are down from a year ago. Benson averaged 96 yards per game last year, 69 this season. Benson's yard per carry average dropped from 4.2 to 3.6. And after rushing for 6 touchdowns last year, he scored 3 touchdowns this year, but with the addition of Terrell Owens, the offense has changed a bit. They do not focus, Steve, on the run as much as they do throwing the football.
Yeah, I think maybe they'd behoove them to get back to the run.
Benson skipping, and Benson falls down at the 8-yard line. Puzlesny, first contact.
You see,
and it's a gain of 2 on the play.
Excuse me, guys. You see these two teams playing this nice opening drive by the Bengals, and Carson Palmer keeping it alive with a scramble. The Bills getting good pressure on Palmer, a couple of hits already. Palmer getting rid of the football on time, but when it comes down to it, the run game is really what makes the difference in this. You see Cedric Benson making a couple of nice runs on first and second down that really sets the Bengals up on 3rd and short and makes it possible for them to stay on the field offensively.
3rd down and 2 at the 8-yard line. 10th play of the drive that started at the 38. Benson slipping a tackle and gets to the 5 and picks up another first down as he gains 3.
And this is one of the things that has plagued the Buffalo Bills during this season, is their inability to consistently stop the run. Even a run of 2 or 3 yards, you rarely see the Bills get those stops for -1, -2. Ranked 32nd in the league against the run, giving up 167 yards per game. You just, if you're looking for a reason why the Bills are 1-8, that's it.
First down and goal at the 5-yard line. Benson, 5 carries, 29 yards. Straight ahead this time. And Benson crawls his way to the 2.5. Stopped by George Wilson and Marcus Stroud. A 3-yard gain on first down.
Once again, now the Bengals will bring in extra offensive linemen in this situation. You see there, he just doesn't get very many carries of over a yard for a touchdown. I mean, it used to be that, he was running them in right and left for the Bengals. Now, he does not get long touchdown runs.
They bring Pecco in the game, a starting defensive lineman who's a terrific blocker. He's the fullback, the up-back on the goal line. Benson, and he won't get there on 2nd and goal from the 2. He'll take a loss on the play, maybe a yard.
And you saw it. They went very, very heavy on the offensive line. They got all the big guys in there. You see Nate Livings pulling out of the line for the Bengals, trying to get out to the corner and can't get there. Benson kind of outruns him to get out there. The Bills rally to the football and stop it. That's tough. That's a lot of weight, a lot of big bodies to get their momentum stopped for the Bills defensive front. They got it done on that one.
So 3rd down and goal to the 2-yard line. Ryan Leonard comes in. Carson Palmer in the shotgun. Bills showing blitz. Palmer will throw it. Looking underneath. Caught! Ocho Cinco. And here we go. Esteban.
Well, on the first attempt for the touchdown, the Bengals went heavy and packed everybody in. On this one, they spread the field, and with so many weapons and an accurate throw by Palmer, you wonder why they don't score every single time. Great talent on the outside for the Bengals, and Palmer gets it to him.
So the Bengals, on their opening series, go 13 plays, covering 62 yards, eating up close to 7 minutes. Cincinnati with a 7-0 lead. As we take a look at the scoring summary, make that his 4th receiving touchdown of the year. Cedric Benson, a workhorse on the drive. So Cincinnati sends it away. Leotis McKelvin on the return. Flag on the play. 2 flags on the play. McKelvin all the way over the 40. Up to close to the 45, a 33-yard return. Dan Scuda with the tackle on special teams for Cincy.
It'll be interesting to see what they call on this penalty. It's usually against
During
the
the return,
team.
illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 33. 10-yard penalty that will be enforced from the spot of the foul. Buffalo keeps the ball, 1st down.
Ed Hockley, your referee today. Ryan Fitzpatrick returns to Cincinnati as the starter, trailing 7-0. Welcome back. Buffalo starts at their own 11-yard line. McIntyre, Fred Jackson in the backfield. Here's Jackson, 2nd man through with room, and he gets to the 15-yard line. So Ryan Fitzpatrick in the win against Detroit last week was 12 of 24, 146 yards, a touchdown, no interception, sacked only 1 time. So Fitzpatrick returns to Cincinnati, where he was Carson Palmer's backup. They are very good friends, talk on the phone all the time, including this week. 2nd down and 6 at the 15. Fitzpatrick lines up in the shotgun. Johnson, the motion man. Fitzpatrick over the middle. Picked off! Dhani Jones, but a flag on the play. In the backfield of Buffalo.
And this might be a late hit.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 93, contact to the helmet. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
And that's an enormous mistake.
Michael Johnson.
You see it coming right off, and he's going to come in and hit Fitzpatrick, and he launches right at the head of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and that is a good penalty, a good call. It's a bad penalty for the Bengals. It's a good call, and I'll tell you what, that's going to hit Michael Johnson in the checkbook.
I don't know, Steve, about some of those calls.
Well,
it's
a safety issue. I'm telling you what, if there's one thing the league has begun to take very seriously of late, it's safety, and Michael Johnson's going to feel that one.
1st down and 10 at the 30-yard line. Here's Jackson. Let's take another. Pecco. Delmatop Pecco slamming Jackson to the ground, a 1-yard gain.
Now here's another look at that hit on the quarterback. Working there against Demetrius Bell. Throws him off on a great, and you see how he launches and goes right up to the head of Fitzpatrick, and that's a must call. It's absolutely a must call for an official.
Second down and 9 at the 31. Fitzpatrick in the shotgun. In trouble. Fitzpatrick sacked. Pecco was there, along with Pat Sims.
And the Buffalo Bills are coming in to play this team in Cincinnati, finding out that when Cincinnati plays without making too many mistakes, they're a really, really good football team, and they have not been able to do it all year. And today, the Bengals have turned it on in a way that they haven't done the entire season. Really all over the Bills early.
A loss of 8, third down 17 at the 23. Fitzpatrick underneath, caught. And a first down, David Nelson, who's been a terrific third down wide receiver. He's a rookie out of Florida, gained 17 yards on the play.
And I don't think they're getting the first down quite at the catch.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense number 96. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
18th catch of the season for Nelson.
Now they might not give him the first down, but you'll see it's right over on the right side of your screen. And I don't think they're going to give Nelson quite the first down. They might have to measure this.
Well, Ed Hockley, the referee, signaled that it was a first down.
Yeah, and then the official on the near side ran out to him and said, wait a minute, I don't think it is. And now they're going to measure. It is very close, and I think they're just short. And now Chan Gailey's got a real decision to make. Because Ed Hockley, like I did, I thought when he caught it, they gave him the first down on the spot, and as he walked towards the middle of the field, they came back and moved the spot back.
The ball is short of the line to gain. Therefore, Buffalo has chosen to accept the penalty, which is a 5-yard penalty, but it also carries an automatic first down. Buffalo's ball.
There you go.
It is enforced from the previous spot.
Yeah, it's not a big gain, but they'll take the first down. And it's the same ISO we just had. You see there, Michael Johnson gets his hands all up in the face of Demetrius Bell, and you can't do that. So Michael Johnson's having a rough first quarter here for the Bengals. And that's, once again, as we saw first play from scrimmage of the game, the Bengals jump off sides. And then now, as their defense takes the field, they alone have kept the Bills offense on the field.
First down again at the 28 now for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Here comes a blitz. Fitzpatrick. And incomplete. He threw that one right on the button. However, Fred Jackson just couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, Fred Jackson knew that he was going to have to catch it quick and get away from Reggie Nelson. As he throws this, Fred Jackson feels the pressure coming and just can't pull it in. He's trying to run with it before he catches it, and that results in the incompletion.
Second down and 10 to the 28. Hand off to Jackson with a huge running lane. Fred Jackson over the 40, but a late flag thrown from behind.
Holding offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Andy Levitri. So let's quickly take a look at this Buffalo Bills offense, ranked 28th in the league, 28th in passing, 15th in rushing.
And Mansfield Rado, a rookie free agent who's taking over for Cordero Howard with a shoulder injury. Cordero Howard was also a rookie free agent. And the backs and receivers. So you see Stevie Johnson, the third-year wide receiver, has got 6 touchdowns, and Fitzpatrick is his favorite. He is Fitzpatrick's favorite receiver. You know, that's a guy, Stevie Johnson, who might have emerged last year were it not for the presence of Terrell Owens on the Bills team. He had to sit and wait his turn until that experiment ran its course, and now Stevie Johnson playing extremely well in his third year.
Leads his team in receptions, 44 for 591 and 6 receiving touchdowns on the year. Second and 17, Fitzpatrick over the middle, and it's caught. Donald Jones with the reception. Dhani Jones with the stop. Bengals defense ranked 15th, 12th against the pass, 22nd against the run.
And Pat Sims, number 90, gets the start inside. Second start in a row, taking over for Tank Johnson. He's a grinder down inside. And the linebackers, Dhani Jones. You'll never run across a more intelligent, articulate linebacker. He's the guy that makes the defense go in his 11th year. And of course, Jonathan Joseph knocked down a pass in the end zone a week ago. Had 6 interceptions last year, only 1 so far in 2010.
Third down and 8 at the 30. Fitzpatrick underneath, caught. Johnson turns it up, breaks to the middle of the field, looking for a block. Down the sideline, out of bounds at the 35. Little Stevie with a gain of 36 yards. Reggie Nelson pushes him out of bounds.
Well, it's amazing how football games change, Gus, with one missed tackle. This is no question. Nice throw and completion right there. The missed tackle lets Stevie Johnson turn it up the field, Gus, and they don't test these guys' speed all the time. You can't, without having it make a difference. I mean, when you give a guy a chance with a missed tackle to turn it up the field, they're fast, all of them.
Johnson only in his 3rd year out of the University of Kentucky. First down and 10 to the 34. Jackson, Fred Jackson breaks it down the sideline, stiff arms his way out of bounds inside the 20. A 16-yard gain. Jonathan Joseph pushes him out of bounds.
Freddie Jackson's like watching somebody pour a glass of water. It just finds its place. You know, he runs through, he always makes just the right cut, always makes just the right hesitation move. It's like he's seen it before. I mean, he always makes just the smoothest, nicest cut with the football in his hands. That's why he's so good. He never misses an opportunity to get that 1 or 2 or 10 extra yards.
First down and 10 to the 18. Jackson, the single setback. They pitch it. Here's Jackson setting up his blocks. And dives forward, gets to the 15-yard line, gains 3. Now, they haven't been there often this year, but I tell you what, when the Bills get in the red zone, they're very effective. They lead the NFL in red zone touchdown percentage. The Bills have scored on 13 of 19 red zone possessions for an NFL best 68%.
Cincinnati's red zone defense, 16th in the NFL.
Second down and 7 at the 15. Jackson running left. Jackson striding, and he gets pounded at the 7-yard line. A big-time hit by Roy Williams, and Williams is down. He gains 8 yards.
Yeah, Roy Williams, you said it, Gus. That was a big hit, and as sometimes happens, the guy who lays the lick on the player is the one who hurts.
Steve, when a player hits you like that, how long does it take for that feeling to get out of your body?
Thursday.
Hopefully Roy Williams is all right. Back after this. Former Bengal Chris Henry died tragically last year, but a courageous decision allows him to live on in more than just memory. A heartwarming story this Thanksgiving on the NFL Today. Roy Williams walked off the field on his own after being shaken up. He's on the Cincinnati sideline. First and goal at the 7-yard line for Buffalo on their opening series. Fitzpatrick back in the end zone, incomplete. Lee Evans, the intended receiver. Leon Hall covering. And that's Wisconsin versus the University of Michigan.
And this is a nice job by Ryan Fitzpatrick hanging in the pocket, delivers this ball, and to me, that doesn't seem like Hall looked for the football at all. You see there, he finally did, but I don't know. That might have been an uncatchable ball, but I think Ryan Fitzpatrick threw that knowing that he had a good chance of getting the pass interference call in the end zone, but it didn't happen.
Second down and goal at the 7. Remember, Fitzpatrick can really run. They hand it off. Jackson bounces it outside on his feet, dives, touchdown, Buffalo. 11-play drive for the Bills that started at their own 11-yard line. And with 2:04 to go in the first quarter, Bills with an opportunity to tie this thing up.
And this is the end of a drive that was kept alive by a couple of bad Cincinnati Bengal penalties. That's their first opening drive for a touchdown this season. 3 penalties on that drive by Cincinnati for 25 yards.
Extra point good for Lindell. 11 plays, covering 89 yards. They eat up 6 minutes. Buffalo, Cincinnati, tied at 7. Beautiful shot of the Queen City, downtown Cincinnati. And we have a tie score here. Good series for Fred Jackson as you take a look at the summary as he caps it off with that 7-yard touchdown run. And for Jackson, that's his 4th rushing touchdown of the year. Andre Caldwell brings it out of his own end zone. And gets to the 20, make it the 22-yard line. 1:59 to go in the first quarter. Buffalo, Cincinnati tied at 7. Here comes Ocho. Roy Williams, starting strong safety, out of this game with the concussion. And what's going through his body right now, Steve?
Well, I don't know that he's in some pain or not, but what happens a lot of times if it's a bad concussion is you can't remember simple things. You can't remember who you're playing today. You get confused and you stay that way for a while.
First down and 10 of the 22. Carson Palmer handing it off to Benson over the left side, and he turns the corner and gets drilled by Posluszny out of bounds. Let's go back, speaking of hits, to the Roy Williams hit on Fred Jackson.
Yeah, and this was a play where Freddie Jackson ducks down, flinches, and that's, it's not an illegal hit at all. It's a very clean hit. Roy Williams coming in to try and break the momentum of the runner, and that's the way it is a lot of times. You get hit in the back of the head or the side of the head when you get the most concussions, in my view. It's been my experience to see guys do that, and that one looked like the side of his head.
One of the biggest stories in the NFL this season. Helmet-to-helmet hits. Benson on the screen, and he gets to the 34. Dwan Edwards with the tackle. Time now to check in with Jumpin' Jimmy Brown in New York.
All right, Gus, after spotting Tennessee a 7-0 lead, McNabb caps an 8-play, 79-yard drive to the team's leading receiver, Santana Moss. It's all knotted at 7-all in Tennessee. Back to Mr. Excitable, Gus Johnson and Steve Tasker.
All right, JB, first down and 10 of the 34 for Cincinnati, who scored on their opening drive. Cedric Benson, a workhorse on that drive in the backfield now, and they're giving it to him. Benson with the running room. Benson gets up midfield and chopped down at the Buffalo 49-yard line after picking up 16 yards. Reggie Corner and Bird come up with the tackle.
In Buffalo, and with 4 down linemen on the field, it has been a problem for them, particularly when they tried to make the switch to the 3-4. As Carson Palmer drops back.
Terrell Owens!
Great play, no huddle by the Bengals, Gus. We were talking about the last play. Carson Palmer runs him to the line and just sends Terrell Owens deep. You could have drawn that one in the dirt. And a great throw by Carson Palmer.
First catch of the day for T.O., 48 yards. And all of a sudden, the Bengals are on the Buffalo 2. First down and goal. And that takes us to the end of the first quarter with the score tied at 7. But the Bengals are knocking on the door. We'll return to Cincinnati after these messages. You're watching the National Football League on CBS. Welcome back, folks. Cincinnati with the football at the Buffalo 2-yard line as they break the huddle. First down and goal. T.O. splitting to the top of your screen. Ocho Cinco at the bottom. Benson in the backfield with Reggie Kelly. Benson running. Oh, and he's stuffed. Lost the ball, but they will call him down. And the Bengals and Bills are getting chippy, folks. Prior to commercial, let's take a look at what happened. Remember, Terrell Owens played for Buffalo last year.
And he just caught a long pass on him.
And he's talking a little bit. He beat Leotis McKelvin, number 28. And then McKelvin comes in and says, okay, we'll see.
He's got a lot of football to be played today, and McKelvin wants it to get started right now. Chad Ochocinco trying to break up that little exchange.
Certainly don't look like we're watching two teams that have struggled this year. Second down and goal to the 4. Benson. Play fake. Inside. Touchdown. T.O. Slam dunk. And Cincinnati takes a 13-7 lead.
You got a lot. I'll tell you guys, it didn't happen to me very often, but every so often you'll see a great player go back and play his old teammates. And I mean, when he does that, he's got a big chip on his shoulder. His teammates got a big chip on their shoulder. Everybody wants to get the best of it.
8th receiving touchdown of the year for Terrell Owens, as Cincinnati takes a 14-7 lead. Carson Palmer finding the future Hall of Famer. Welcome back. T.O. with his 155th career touchdown, 152 receiving, 3 rushing during his career. And he is fired up. 6 plays, 78 yards. Bengals score in less than 3 minutes. 14-7. Cincinnati sends it away. McKelvin. And Leotis McKelvin going down at the 26-yard line. 17-yard return. Tonight on CBS, for the first time, 2 teams may have to turn back. A new amazing race after 60 minutes. Tonight, only CBS. Terrell Owens, 4th all-time in most touchdowns. Jerry Rice at 208. Emmitt Smith 175. And take a look. This season with Cincinnati and last season with Buffalo.
Yeah, and that's a big difference. And the quarterback play, I think, here in Cincinnati will make that difference with Carson Palmer throwing it.
Here's a handoff. Jackson looking for a crease. And Eddie Jackson stopped by Keith Rivers. But getting back to Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice had 208 career touchdowns. Emmitt Smith 175. LaDainian Tomlinson still playing with the Jets 158. And T.O. 155. 3rd all-time in receiving touchdowns behind Rice and Randy Moss.
And you knew Carson Palmer would feed him the football, because if you bring a guy like Terrell Owens to your team, your quarterback's going to do his best to make him happy, because how many quarterbacks are broken and battered in his wake throughout his career?
Second down and 8 at the 28. McIntyre, Jackson in the offset eye. It's Patrick to the sideline. Oh, picked up! What a play! Jonathan Joseph steps in, and Cincinnati forces the turnover.
Well, this is a great route coverage by Jonathan Joseph. You said it. We spoke about him in the opening. He had 6 interceptions last year, only 1 so far this year, working against Lee Evans on man coverage. And Evans just comes out. Now, Fitzpatrick could have put this ball back up the line of scrimmage. You see, Evans stops his feet, has to go up and get it. And that ball had to be thrown further away from the defensive back. But Jonathan Joseph, what a break on the football he made for that interception.
First down and 10 now for Cincinnati at the Buffalo 34. Palmer looking to throw. Palmer in trouble and wrapped up and taken down. Chris Kelsey, the 8th-year man out of Nebraska. That's the first sack of the day, and a flag on the far side of the field.
Yeah, Chris Kelsey is really giving Dennis Rowland all he can handle over the right tackle spot for the Bengals. That's the 2nd time Kelsey has been in on Palmer, and it may not count.
Before the quarterback was sacked, illegal contact. Defense number 28. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So now, Leotis McKelvin is starting to...
Yeah, he's starting to be the focus of the Bengals offense, is he not?
Yes, he is. First down and 10 to the 29. Terrell Owens in his head now. He's beat up for a 48-yard pass as well as a touchdown. Owens at the top of your screen. Let's see if Palmer goes back to him. Ochocinco at the bottom. The handoff. Benson finds it outside. Gets a block from T.O. Out of bounds inside the 5. Dante Whitner with the saving tackle, but Terrell Owens with a terrific block to spring Benson.
And it always works that way. If you get the good blocking down inside, you'll see that as soon as it happens that the running back breaks out, you need the wide receivers to block, and Terrell Owens, who is a big guy, you see there, this is McKelvin trying to get around. All of a sudden, you look at how big a guy Owens is, and it's like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through him to make the tackle?
That's a 26-yard run. Benson with 11 carries, 79 yards in the first half. First and goal of the 3. Benson, second man through, and he won't get there. Knocked backwards, Aiken Adele. First contact.
Crucial here for a stand by the Buffalo Bills defense. Don't want to fall down 21-7 here in the first half with so much time left, and really they've had no answer for the Cincinnati offense. Carson Palmer orchestrating a beautiful couple of drives here in the first half to give the Bengals the lead.
Terrell Owens in motion. Ochocinco at the bottom. Here's the handoff. Benson looking, leans.
They're not going to give him the touchdown. Maybe just shy. And the Bengals run on Anthony Collins and Pecco. Or excuse me, Michael Johnson.
So Terrell Owens and Ochocinco come off the field, and they bring in Pecco, as you mentioned, as Carson Palmer gets to the line of scrimmage.
That might have been a good time for a challenge right there.
Watch Pecco, the up back. He can block. And touchdown. Cedric Benson.
For these Bengal fans here in Cincinnati, Gus, they've watched this team last year sweep the division, this year struggle mightily, and it's been their own doing as you see them pound this football in on the goal line against the Buffalo Bills for their third touchdown in the first half. This is a Bengals team who couldn't get out of their own way for most of this season. When they put it together, they look a lot like that division winner from a year ago.
6 consecutive one-yard touchdowns for Benson. That's his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. At 6 all of last year. Extra point is good. 10:59 to play in the second quarter. Cincinnati capitalizing on the turnover, taking a 21-7 lead. Welcome back. 21-7. Cincinnati, as you take a look at the drive, 4 plays, covering 34 yards after the interception thrown by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Jonathan Joseph picking it off. And here's McKelvin taking a knee in the end zone. Wise decision. Out tomorrow on television's #1 news show, a bank heist in broad daylight, and the suspects are multiplying. A new Hawaii 5-0 tomorrow, only CBS. So Ryan Fitzpatrick back on the field after throwing that interception.
Remember earlier in the game, he had an interception that was negated by a penalty. So the Bengals seem to have a handle on their former teammate.
First down and 10 to the 20-yard line for Fitzpatrick out of the shotgun. Fred Jackson in the slot at the bottom of your screen. Fitzpatrick underneath finds Jackson, and he's chopped down. Nicely done by Dhani Jones. Houston taking on the Jets. Let's go to James Brown for an NFL update in New York.
Hey, Gus, Arian Foster gets his league-leading 11th rushing touchdown on that 2-yard scamper right there. That capped a Houston drive of 11 plays, 67 yards, 7-3 Houston over the Jets. Gus Johnson, Steve Tasker.
All right, Jets been winning dramatically last couple of weeks. First in Detroit and last week against Cleveland. Both games on the road. Fitzpatrick throws on the run, incomplete, as he's drilled. by Clinton McDonald. Oakland and Pittsburgh Raiders on the road. Here's JB.
Hey, Gus, another effective touchdown maker on the ground. Running back Rashard Mendenhall, his 8th rushing touchdown of the season, that 5-yard CD run. That capped the 14-play, 85-yard drive. Gus and Steve.
And Pittsburgh coming off that loss to New England. Did you see Tom Brady's energy in that game?
That's something you never rarely see from him. He's usually so stoic. Players respond to that, though.
3rd and 7. Picked up! Joseph again! Touchdown, Cincinnati!
The Cincinnati secondary is really doing an outstanding job on the Buffalo Bill wide receivers. Ryan Fitzpatrick is trying to find open guys, and it's just not happening. You see there, the Bengals rush extra people. Fitzpatrick has to throw to his hot receiver. You see there the secondary, 2 defensive backs coming in, and Fitzpatrick's got to get rid of it, and he throws it right into the waiting arms of Joseph.
Extra point up and good, and the Bengals take a 28-7 lead. 2 picks today for Joseph, including a pick 6, 22 yards. Bengals look great. And welcome back. Ryan Fitzpatrick today has thrown 2 interceptions, 9 on the season now with 3 completions. Cincinnati kicking it off. Picked up by Donald Jones. Flag on the play as Donald Jones drags defenders across the 25 to the 26, an 18-yard return. Rico Murray with the tackle on special teams.
Personal foul, illegal wedge by the kicking team during the return. That ball is enforced from the spot of the foul. Half the distance to the goal. Buffalo keeps the ball. First down.
Now coming up next, folks, the game you've been waiting for as Peyton and the Colts renew their red-hot rivalry with Tom Brady and the Patriots. More people watch the NFL on CBS this season than any other network.
There you see it. 11 games. Both been to the Super Bowl a couple of times at least. And they lead the NFL all time in a couple of things. Man, those 2 guys are really good.
First down and 10. Here's the pitch. Jackson. And Jackson taken down hard. Crocker. Nice open field tackle, but he injured his knee. And he's in a lot of pain.
And Chris Crocker making that tackle on the sidelines on Freddie Jackson. It didn't look like a really massive hit. As you'll see, this is Chris Crocker right here, and it might. Oh, and it didn't look like there was any contact. Just
like he may have
whipped his
twisted,
knee.
he twisted.
You know, you think you worry so much about the contact. You know, you worry about guys hitting you, and all of a sudden you get it was the speed of the game and the whiplash effect of his knee coming around the tackle that did it to him. It kind of just, you can see there, he knew immediately.
All right, we'll step away. 28-7 Cincinnati. All right, Chris Crocker has been helped onto the cart. He is still holding that right knee. 8th-year player out of Marshall.
That is There's 2 starting safeties for the Bengals today. Roy Williams already out of the game with a concussion. Now Chris Crocker. Don't know this long-term status of today, but it certainly doesn't look like he's going to be returning to the game anytime soon, if at all. So the Bengals get a little thin in their defensive secondary, which for that day that Ryan Fitzpatrick's having is probably a good thing.
He's replaced by Reggie Nelson, wears number 20. for Cincinnati. 2nd down and 10 at the 10-yard line for Buffalo. Fitzpatrick looking, fires down the field. Lee Evans got him, and Lee Evans down at the 35.
They went right after
54-yard gain. Rico Murray with the tackle.
Excuse me, Gus. They went right after Reggie Nelson, the safety on that side. Fitzpatrick pumps to the left, comes back, finds Lee Evans down the right side. Reggie Nelson took a few false steps because of the pump fake of Ryan Fitzpatrick. You see there, he's just late getting over because of Ryan Fitzpatrick's eyes.
1st down at the Cincinnati 36 for Buffalo. Jackson. And Jackson, maybe a yard on the play. Gang tackle led by Michael Johnson.
Heads up by Chan Gailey, calling a play that really goes right after the guy that replaced the starter that was injured. On going for the deep ball, and at this point down by 21 points in the 1st half. Yeah, you really do have to start making some play selections that'll get chunks of yardage.
2nd down and 9 at the 35. Fitzpatrick in the gun. Underneath, Jackson with the catch. Stumbles. And Jackson crawls forward and gets to the 27, gains 7 yards. Reggie Nelson to Honey Jones with the tackle.
One of the things that's going to make a difference for the Bills is they've got to protect Fitzpatrick a little better on that. In that case, the Bengals dropped back into coverage and then left Ryan Fitzpatrick to scan the field, and that gave Jackson plenty of time to get all the way across the formation and finally come out into the open on the other side of the field.
So you got 2 backup safeties in the game for Cincinnati. Reggie Nelson, number 20. Chinedum Ndukwe, number 41. Let's see if Fitzpatrick can take advantage. Evans! Incomplete. That one thrown just a little too long for Lee Evans.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, now they're going to start trying to take advantage of the safeties. When they do that, look for balls, as you've seen, down the outside of the edges of the field. As Nelson and Ndukwe try and cover sideline to sideline, they're just not going to get it done.
So the Bills are going to go for it on 4th down. Down 28-7, no choice here.
And really, why not? You're 1-8 on the road, down 3 touchdowns.
Remember, Fitzpatrick is a very good runner. And he needs only 2. 4th down and 2. Let's see if they roll him out, Steve.
Blitz.
And here comes a rollout. Throws. Incomplete. Flag, though, on the play. David Nelson, the intended receiver, and it's a late flag.
Yeah, David Nelson being guarded by Reggie Nelson. There was contact at the top of the route. David Nelson felt the contact,
Before the
knew it was
pass
a penalty.
was thrown, holding defense number 20. That's a 5-yard penalty, an automatic 1st down.
That's Reggie Nelson.
Yeah, and the Bengals came with a lot of pressure off the left side of the formation of the offense. And Nelson on the other side, the right side, gets around and watch. And he grabbed him by the waist there. That's, a wide receiver working against his safety, and that's a matchup you would think you would like as the Buffalo Bills.
1st down and 10 to the 23. 2 backup safeties in the lineup now. Chris Crocker out with a knee injury. Roy Williams out with the concussion for Cincinnati. Fitzpatrick rolling, throws on the mark. And he's got Nelson. That's Sean Nelson, 2nd-year tight end out of Southern Mississippi, gains 9.
And you said it, Gus. You mentioned it on that 4th down play that the Bills might try and get him out of the pocket. And I think one of the things that the Bills are going to try and do is use Fitzpatrick's legs to give him a little more time to throw the football. And there's no question it's their idea now to work on the 2 safeties in the secondary of the Bengals. And to do that, they've got to give him more time because the Bengals are bringing extra pressure.
2nd and 1 at the 14. Jackson reverses. Jackson dives forward, and it'll be short of the 1st down. Mawaluga with the tackle. along with Keith Rivers.
And it's interesting because the Bengals have resorted with 2 backup safeties to bringing extra pressure, blitzing linebackers, bringing safeties and defensive secondary people off the edges of the formation for the Bills so that they can kind of cover for those 2 safeties in the back end of their defense. And the Bills, in response to that pressure, have started moving Fitzpatrick around.
3rd down and 1 at the 14. Donald Jones in motion. Fitzpatrick dumps it off. Oh, almost picked off again. And that time it looked like David Martin was the intended receiver.
Yeah, looks like Ryan Fitzpatrick was trying to throw a screen pass. You see David Martin right there working against Gathers, and he just doesn't look for the football right here. He doesn't realize that he's an eligible receiver, and Ryan Fitzpatrick needs somebody to throw the football to.
So that makes it 4th down and 1 at the 14. 5:49 remaining in the first half. Fitzpatrick fires over the middle, and it's caught. Nicely done. Steve Johnson gains 4 yards on 4th and 1. And the drive stays alive for Buffalo.
And once again, Fitzpatrick moving to his right to gain time. Watch as the pressure comes off the left side of the offense, and Fitzpatrick moves out, throws it back across his body.
Brandon G makes the tackle.
Bengals have really been blitzing the Bills a lot today.
1st down.
False start, offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty. It's 1st down.
That's Mansfield Rado. 3rd year tackle out of Georgia Tech. So Chan Gailey looks at his chart.
You'll see he just, that's it. And he's the rookie free agent who's been playing a lot for the last few weeks, but still learning.
1st down and a long 15 at the 16-yard line. Fitzpatrick tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Michael Johnson getting a big hand on the football to cause the deflection.
See to the right, takes an inside move on Bell, left tackle, and gets up into the face. Michael Johnson having a really good day, great pass rusher. Bell has really struggled with him at times, but he's also drawn a couple of penalties.
11th play of the drive that started at the Buffalo 10. 2nd and 15. Fitzpatrick sets up a screen, and incomplete. Fred Jackson, the intended receiver. Pecco causing all kinds of disruption on that play.
Yeah, the Bengals smelled that screen pass out right away. Pecco comes out from his defensive line position right here. He sees it and just goes with Freddie Jackson and just won't let him get away. Gets some help there as well from Jones.
3rd down and 15 at the 16-yard line. Watch Steve Johnson. He's a receiver at the bottom of your screen. The middle has been open for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick looking, throws, batted down. Great job by Reggie Nelson. The backup safety in for Crocker comes up with a play.
And this throw needed to be out to the sideline. You'll watch here as Nelson gets up the field, breaks out, and this ball is behind him. It needed to be out in this area, and that's the reason Nelson could get in there and knock it down. If that ball's to the sideline, David Nelson could have caught it. And Reggie Nelson could not have batted it away.
Ryan Lindell in to attempt a 33-yarder. And he missed it. Bills come up empty. With the new NFL.com mobile apps, you can stay in the game no matter where you are this holiday season. Go to NFL.com/mobile and download the apps today. Ryan Lindell, he struggled recently. He's missed 3 of his last 4 attempts. Missed from 41, 53, and now 33 yards.
Yeah, he has been very good up to that point, though. You see there, first missing his last 29 attempts under 40 yards.
Cincinnati takes over. And the handoff, Bernard Scott goes backwards. Marcus Stroud, the former Pro Bowler with the Jacksonville Jaguars, comes up with the tackle, and it's a loss of 3 on the play.
And that's one of the things we mentioned early in this game that you rarely saw from the Bills' rush defense is those 3-yard loss runs. You know, usually a team was always getting 1 or 2 yards. There on the first play of this series, Marcus Stroud comes up and gets, I think, is the first tackle for loss of the day for the Bills.
Cedric Benson, folks, has vision problems. The starting running back for Cincinnati, his return is uncertain. Palmer, screenplay. Scott, nowhere to go. Posluszny tracks him down. So some interesting twists as you take a look at Cedric Benson.
You say vision problems, yeah, I kind of wonder whether he got something in his eye. And this is a prescription turf field, artificial surface, and the black rubber dust that they put that makes it like soil gets thrown up occasionally, and a lot of times guys get that in their eyes, but I don't know that that's a problem with Cedric Benson. I don't know. Vision problems is a new one on me.
3rd down, 18 at the 16-yard line. Cincinnati 5 of 5 on 3rd down conversion. Carson Palmer throws incomplete. Great pressure being applied by the Bills.
Now they haven't whistled it dead.
Arthur Moats with
now
the
there's
pressure.
A flag. I don't know why they didn't call this an incomplete pass right away, but they did not, and that's the reason for a big tussle in the middle of the field. The officials, Ed Hockley and the umpire, Chad Brown, looked at each other like they'd never seen an incomplete pass before. This ball was, now there's no question, Palmer let that ball go. His arm was going forward, but everybody, because there was no whistle, the players started acting like it was a fumble. So they started picking it up and running with it and tackling each other down the field, and now you got pushing and shoving because nobody knows.
The pass was ruled incomplete on the field. After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 84. That will be enforced half the distance to the goal, and the down counts. It is 4th down.
That's a tight end, Jermaine Grisham.
Now you'll see here, I mean, how many times we've seen this? He's throwing it, it kind of goes forward, gets knocked loose, no question. There was no question it was not an empty-handed or a fumble. And then all this happens after the play's over.
So Buffalo will get an opportunity to get it back. 2:46 on the clock. They have 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning as Gresham, I guess he was just playing to the end of the whistle in which he never heard.
The whistle never happened. I mean, I put that on Ed Hockley in the officiating crew. There was no whistle, and they didn't call an incomplete pass.
Kevin Huber deep in his own end zone. Left-footed punter gets it away. Jackson signals for the fair catch and has it at the 42. Make that Leotis McKelvin. And it's a 48-yard punt. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. High-scoring first half for Cincinnati, 28-7. Ocho Cinco as well as T.O. with touchdowns. 2 interceptions for Jonathan Joseph for the Bengals, including a pick 6 of 22 yards for number 22. First down and 10 at the 44 for Buffalo. Fitzpatrick inside, Donald Jones, and he dives forward. Picks up 4 as Dhani Jones brings him down.
Yeah, and it's a crucial series, I think, for Buffalo to go in, perhaps even get a touchdown out of this. Plenty of time with over 2 minutes and all their timeouts. There's no question they can't afford to take too many negative plays.
2nd down and 6. Fitzpatrick again underneath, and he throws a strike to Jones. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning as Jones picks up 11 yards. 2 minutes to play. 2nd quarter, 28-7, Cincy. Welcome back to Paul Brown Stadium. 1st and 10 from the Bengal 41-yard line for this Buffalo team. Ryan Fitzpatrick has struggled in the first half. He's thrown 2 interceptions. Fitzpatrick steps up in the pocket, throws on the run, and he has a man, Steve Johnson, gains 13. And Steve, during the break, we were talking about how you take advantage of safeties that don't have a lot of experience, and that's what the case is with this Cincinnati team. The 2 backup safeties are on the field.
Well, what you have to do is push the play to where they guard the field, which is the deep half of the field. You got to go deep on the sidelines and deep down the middle. They're the back side of the safety, the back end of the defense. That's where you have to attack, the deep ball.
1st down and 10 to the 28. Fitzpatrick looks backside underneath. He has Donald Jones. Jones running. Donald Jones, touchdown Buffalo. 28 yards. And they attack the safeties again.
Yeah, they came right across the middle of the football field on a little screen, which is where the safeties would see that develop and come up and protect it. And they just didn't get there in time. Great blocking up front, well-designed and well-executed play by Buffalo. Watch the offensive line. They'll step back, and then they take off down the field. You see Levitre and Handgartner, the center and the guard, taking off down the field to get out in front, if they can, of Johnson. And they sprung the play.
4 catches, 52 yards for Donald Jones. And it's a 28-14 game, 1:17 remaining in the 2nd. Back to Cincinnati after this. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join JV, Dan Shannon, Boomer, and Coach C for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. Week 11, folks. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. So a very important sequence for the Buffalo squad as they score 4 plays, 56 yards. Buffalo will have the football to start the 2nd half. Bills still with 3 timeouts remaining.
And Cincinnati, with guys dropping, I mean, Cedric Benson's questionable. Both safeties are out. They might have to lean even more on Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens.
Scott allows that one to go out of bounds. So a penalty.
The ball is illegally kicked out of bounds. It will be placed at the 40-yard line by rule. 1st down.
Ryan Lindell struggling a little bit now. Missed a field goal and now kicks the ball out of bounds.
That ball landed out of bounds. It's one thing if the ball goes down, you get a crazy hop and it jumps out of bounds. That one kicked, landed 2 yards outside the number, outside the white line. I mean, that's Bruce DeHaven, the special teams coordinator, talking to him right there.
That was your coach, right, Steve?
Oh, yeah. He's been around the league. He's been around the block more than once, Bruce DeHaven. He knows how to handle kickers.
1st down and 10 to the 40-yard line. 1:17 remaining. Cincinnati with 3 timeouts. Bengals just get it off. And that ball caught by Jordan Shipley, the impressive rookie out of Texas. He gains 8. Reggie Corner stops him. Carson Palmer quickly to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Carson Palmer is very good at this because he's got an accurate arm, and with his shoulder feeling better, I think it's right where he wants to be.
Palmer to throw again. And it's caught, this time by Leonard. And Leonard pulled down by Posluszny. And Cincinnati may use a timeout here, and they do as Leonard picks up 10 yards on the play.
And that was not a real smart play by Brian Leonard, staying inbounds. He got to work to get out. It looked like he wasn't trying to get out of bounds. It caused the Bengals to use their first timeout. That's just one of the things. And you look at this with Marvin Lewis. You see he's got his hands up, It's just one thing that goes wrong. There's these small things that have really been eroding at the Bengals' ability to win football games this year. You look at the games they've lost, nobody beats them by more than a touchdown. They're so talented, and yet the penalties and mistakes like that have really cost them.
First down at the Buffalo 42. Cedric Benson with some eye problems. He's on the sideline, the starting running back for the Bengals. Palmer, pump fake. Shipley, down the sideline, he's got breakaway speed. Shipley, oh, tripped up at the 5. The 37-yard reception, Brian Scott there to bring him down.
And it's just what we spoke about. You get in there and the hesitation move on the crossing route, great execution by Shipley. Brian Scott walking him down the sideline. Huge play defensively if they can make it count.
They look in the corner for Terrell Owens. Flag on the play. That'll be interference against Drayton Florence.
Pass interference, defense, number 29. The ball is placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
And you'll see at the bottom of your screen, this is a throw that really, I mean, this is a high ball in the back corner of the end zone. Owens never got to the back corner of the end zone, which is where Palmer threw it.
Was that a catchable ball, though, Steve?
Yeah, I don't think it was. But it might have been had he not been interfered with, because that's probably where Palmer expected him to be.
First down and goal at the 1. Play action. Palmer looking in the corner. Incomplete. And another flag. Gresham, the intended receiver.
You know, you think about it. They didn't catch the football. There's 9 seconds left in the half.
Pass interference, defense, number 51. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Who cares if it's a first down if they don't catch the ball in the end zone with 9 seconds left? They've got about a chance for one more throw to the end zone, and then they're going to have to settle for a field goal.
Face guarding here by Puzluzny.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, Puzluzny knows that he doesn't care if it's interference in the end zone at this point.
Again, 9 seconds to go. They hand it off, and Scott will not get in. Cincinnati will have to call a timeout. Bengals now have 1 left. Kyle Williams breaking through the line of scrimmage for Buffalo.
And it's all about penetration at this level. That's Williams just gets in and makes the first contact right in here.
Man, he's having a great season.
He really is.
What a great season for Kyle Williams.
He's got a motor that goes 100 miles an hour every play, and he weighs 300 pounds.
He should be heading to Hawaii the way he's played this season. Second down and goal.
Well, the reason he may not go to Hawaii is because he's playing for the Buffalo Bills, and they're 1-8. But I'll tell you, in the games that we've done, a couple of Bills games this year, every team that we have talked to in preparation for the Bills games, they all mention how well he is playing and what a great player he is.
Undersized nose tackle at 305. So listen, here go the Bengals going for the touchdown again. No! Bernard Scott stopped, and that'll be it. How about that for Buffalo? And they'll get the ball to start the second half. Aiken Adele, Marcus Stroud that time stopping.
Now they're talking, the officials are talking about this as to where they're going to put time back on the clock.
There was 1 second left. Timeout Cincinnati. That's their 3rd and final timeout.
Well, now you'll see right down inside, like we said a moment ago, it's all about penetration. And they come in from the outside. Adele comes in. Whitner comes in right up here is where it comes from.
Look at the clock.
And watch the clock. 3, 2, 1 second. And there you have it. If they called him down right there, I don't know, on a regular play. That's it's not reviewable.
Aaron Petrie, a rookie out of Ohio State, in to attempt a 19-yard field goal. And it's good. And that's the end of the first half. High-scoring first half here in Cincinnati. 31-14 Bengals. We'll be back with the Sprint Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. Halftime in Cincinnati. Bengals with a 31-14 lead over the Bills. Gus Johnson along with Steve Tasker, and welcome back to the Queen City. And Steve, I tell you, a lot of points scored in that first half. Cincinnati looked good, and at the end, Buffalo made a little rally.
Yeah, Buffalo made a rally offensively, but they still have not answered the firepower of Cincinnati's offense. Then really, for the first time or one of the few times this season, Cincinnati showed up and really seemed to be firing on all cylinders. They had great pass pressure against the Bills. They had great pass protection for Carson Palmer, and of course the big names Terrell Owens and Chad Ochocinco, each with a touchdown. So the Bengals, for what's kept them from being a good football team this year, they set it aside today and have really played very well.
And that brings us to the All-State points of protection, so let's take a look.
Well, it's been good ball security for the Bengals, but not for Buffalo. 2 interceptions, which led to 14 points, one directly with the interception return for a touchdown. Carson Palmer has not been sacked yet, although he's been hit a couple of times. And Cedric Benson, who was really having a great day rushing the football for 82 yards, he left the game with vision problems. And the injuries during this game to the Cincinnati Bengals, I think, are going to come and really be a factor as this game progresses if Buffalo can take advantage of them.
Remember, Cincinnati lost both of their starting safeties, Chris Crocker and Roy Williams. Crocker with the knee injury, Williams with the concussion. Jonathan Joseph has a leg injury as well. Here's their starting corner, and we will see if he returns. And there he is. Looks like he's on the sideline, ready to get back into the game. He's got his helmet on. Joseph with 2 interceptions in the first half, including a 22-yard pick for a touchdown. Donald Jones, Leotis McKelvin back deep as the ball blows off the tee.
No, it was that windy down there. It didn't seem to be that way before the game. Having some trouble getting that ball. It's not that hard, you know. You just stand the thing up in the little piece of rubber and have the guy hold it.
But he's a rookie. Petrie's a rookie. McKelvin inside the 5. McKelvin all the way up to the 31-yard line, where he stopped by Brandon G, a 29-yard return. Ryan Fitzpatrick returns 11 of 21 in the first half, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Buffalo comes out after making some adjustments at halftime and manages to put a touchdown on the board. This game is really going to change, but there's no question. I think every possession is going to be crucial for the Bills in this second half, but I think none more so than this one.
And there's Chinadum Ndukwe. A handoff. Jackson gets outside. Great running room, and he finally goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line, about an 8-yard gain.
It's a nice stiff arm on Dhani Jones to turn the corner and give himself a chance to gain some yardage. It looked like it was going to be a tackle for no gain before the stiff arm. He turned that corner coming around, and there you see the injuries today. And Jonathan Joseph looks like he's on the sideline. He's going to try and go, but he's not in there right now.
2nd down and 1 at the 41. Delayed handoff. Fred Jackson looking for the first down, and he goes backwards. Let's see where his forward progress will land him as Pat Sims makes the tackle. No gains, so they're saying on the play. Keith Rivers in as well. So that brings up 3rd down and about 1.5 yards.
And there's a player down right at midfield or the 45-yard line. It looks like Eric Wood, the guard for the Buffalo Bills, who was actually out with a broken leg last year and is back in the lineup. Got bent back over the pile. And here he is. And he gets, that's exactly how he got injured last season. Somebody rolling up on his leg.
So Wood is down as we start the second half. And now they help the big guy up on his feet, and he'll walk off on his own. Good sign. Back to Cincinnati after this. Welcome back to Paul Brown Stadium. 31-14. Cincinnati with the lead as we begin the fourth quarter. And some movement now on the offensive line with Eric Wood out.
There's Craig Urbick in, 6'5", 323 pounds in his first year out of Wisconsin as a free agent.
Third down and 1. The Bills at the 41. And a whistle.
Yeah, a false start.
False start, offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty, third down.
That's a left guard, Andy Levitre.
Yeah, now they're going to have to take all those big heavy bodies off the ground, off the field, and put in the wide receiver package. Because a 3rd and 1 turns into a 3rd and 6 awful quick.
So usually on third down, Ryan Fitzpatrick will look for David Nelson, the rookie out of Florida.
And we have another stoppage. And they don't have the ball quite spotted in the right place. Should be at just inside the 37. They've got it just outside the 36. And they move it a little bit. And there they go. Move it. Well, they put 1 second back on the clock at the end of the first half. And now they're going to move the foot. Now they put the ball back where it was. Okay.
Third down 6 at the 36. Watch Nelson. He's in the slot at the top of your screen. Donald Jones crosses, trips. Fitzpatrick throws, caught at the 45 and a first down. And that is Stevie Johnson. A gain of 15 yards on third down and 6.
You know, as the Bills throw it into the secondary, we've been told that Jonathan Joseph will return to this game. As you see the completion there. Jonathan Joseph will not return to the game, but Cedric Benson probably will. So Joseph will be back in the game after getting two first half interceptions. He'll be back in there.
First down.
He will not be back in there. I'm sorry, I keep getting that wrong. Sorry about that.
Here's Fitzpatrick again. And he just dumps it off. And this time he finds his tight end, David Martin. So I think Carlos Dunlap brings him down, the rookie out of Florida.
Yeah, I think we're still going to be talking a lot about this secondary, Gus. You hear, you know, with Joseph being out, and you got Ndukwe in and Reggie Nelson in at safety. I mean, this is a secondary that's really, it's going to be really spread really thin, and I think the Bills are going to notice that. They're going to start spreading the football out and let Ryan Fitzpatrick do it, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Bengals do to counteract that.
Second down and 10 to the 49. Fitzpatrick to the sideline, incomplete. Lee Evans, the intended receiver, as Fitzpatrick throws it behind him. Those out routes, those sideline routes have been a problem for Ryan Fitzpatrick today.
I think Lee Evans runs this route at 10 yards, and the ball was thrown just behind him, and the ball was let loose a little quickly, and Evans didn't have a chance to get out of his break at all.
Third down, 10 to the 49. Fred Jackson, the single setback. They need to go to the 39 for a first down. Fitzpatrick looking up top. Oh, what a catch. Donald Jones First down, Buffalo, and that time Fitzpatrick put that in the perfect place, a gain of 18.
He really did. He dropped it in, and they worked on the safeties. You see there, that's Rico Murray, who's got the short outside routes, and then the safety in Ndukwe has got to come over and get that sideline as it gets deeper, and the seam between those two zones is right where Ryan Fitzpatrick put that football.
Jones, 5 catches, 70 yards. Opening drive of the second half of Buffalo. Fitzpatrick rolls, dumps it off, and he's got Jackson. And Fred Jackson picks up 3 yards on the play. As Brandon Johnson and Rico Murray bring him to the ground.
You really can't put a price on how crucial third down conversions are, particularly third and long like the Bills have managed to do in this first drive after halftime. It really keeps them in the football game and keeps life in them, because there's no question they've got to make the most of every opportunity, because up until halftime they had not found an answer for Cincinnati's offense.
Second down and 7 to the 28. Fitzpatrick batted down at the line of scrimmage. Looks like Johnson may have gotten a hand on that once again.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick had plenty of time to throw this football. You see the Bengals running the game inside. Michael Johnson coming to the inside, and Gathers coming to the outside, switching places, and the offensive line sorting it out and doing a nice job.
Third down and 7. Bills need to go to the 21 for a first down. At the Cincinnati 28. Fitzpatrick fires. Oh, caught! Steve Johnson! Touchdown, Buffalo! What a play and what a move! 28 yards. Why so serious?
And it's a great throw. You'll watch right there, coming to the outside, and he puts the corner in a bind. The safety can't get out there, and he just squeaks into the end zone. They put the pressure on the defensive secondary once again, and the safeties just can't get to the sidelines to cover those routes.
And the extra point is good. 5 catches, 95 yards for a touchdown. Steve Johnson. Why so serious? The Joker's in the house. 31-21. Welcome back. Steve Johnson with his 7th receiving touchdown of the season, as the Bills go 9 plays covering 68 yards, scoring on their opening drive of the second half. Bernard Scott fumbles it, picks it up at the 1, and Scott goes down at the 12. 11-yard return, Antonio Coleman with the tackle on special teams. Another look at the catch by Johnson.
He does a nice job, sees out of the corner of his eye, and Ndukwe coming over and plans to go back inside and struggles into the end zone, and then I kind of like it. Why so serious? Hey, you just have fun, man. The season's not everything that the Bills had hoped for. You may as well enjoy it while you're playing.
Former backup to Terrell Owens last year has had a breakout season. Cedric Benson is back in the game at running back for Cincinnati. From the 14, Palmer rolling out of the pocket, dumps it off. He has Gresham, and Gresham, the bruising tight end, crosses the 30 and gets up to the 33. An 18-yard reception. Aiken Adele with the tackle.
That's a well-thought-out play. The misdirection with Gresham just sneaking out the backside. Carson Palmer, who's not a mobile quarterback, you don't see him run very much. The Bengals doing something completely against what they usually do and letting Carson Palmer run out of the pocket and deliver the ball. Caught the Bills completely off guard.
First down and 10 at the 32. Benson. And he's written down. Lost it! Picked up! Florence! Touchdown Buffalo! Wow!
I'll see you, bro! I'll see you, bro!
Drayton Florence picked it up. Looks like Marcus Stroud may have stripped it. A 27-yard return.
Just like that, watch as this play comes out. Benson gets out of the backfield, and Marcus Stroud plows down the line of scrimmage and knocks it out, and that's a fumble, no question. And right there, Florence just scoops it up and gets back the touchdown that the Bengals defense scored on the Bills.
Lindell in to attempt the extra point. It's up and good, and what a game developing here at Cincy. 31-28. Here we go, folks. Buffalo and Cincinnati. Cedric Benson fumbles at home for the first time this season, a very costly one, as the Buffalo Bills cut it to 3 with 9:54 to play in the third quarter.
Once again, the ball comes off the tee.
Drayton Florence picked it up after Marcus Stroud stripped it away and raced into the end zone for 27 yards and a touchdown. Lindell kicking from the 30. Scott from the 6. And Scott up to the 35, making the 36. Lindell and Antonio Coleman combining on the tackle, a 30-yard return, and another look at the touchdown.
Marcus Stroud comes down, pops the ball off. You see the ball is out right there, and the knee is off the ground. It's a good call by the official. They let it play, as they're trained to do these days. Because of replay, they can fix anything that they can, except if they stop a play too early. So they tend to let the plays go long. This one turns out to be the right call as Florence gets into the end zone.
First down for Cincinnati at their own 36. Benson. And Benson maybe a yard and a half. Kyle Williams stops him.
Well, Benson was a force in the first half until he had to leave with vision problems. The Bills trying to find an answer for his production here in the second half, as the Bengals are going to lean on him heavily.
16 carries, 79 yards for Benson. And this time he gets outside. Late flag thrown from behind on the far side of the field. A 9-yard gain.
He's going to be holding against the Bengals. This is going to be taken back.
Holding, offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Here's Bobby Williams, the right guard, the 11th year veteran out of Arkansas. And Marcus Stroud was vehement in his protestation of that play right here. You see there, didn't let him slide back outside as he grabbed his underneath his shoulder pad.
Second down and 18 to the 28. Palmer drops it off the screen to Benson. Trying to find a lane, and he does as he cuts back and goes down at the 39. Juwan Edwards with the tackle. 11-yard gain. Texans and the Jets today. Here's James Brown in New York.
All right, Gus, Jets have expanded their lead to 13 over Houston. Take a look at Mark Sanchez, second touchdown of the game. This one, 41 yards to Santonio Holmes, capping a 9-play, 92-yard drive. Jets on top. Gus and Steve.
All right, how good does Mark Sanchez look over the last 3 weeks, as well as former Super Bowl MVP Santonio Holmes. Third down and 7 at the 39. Cincinnati's Carson Palmer in the shotgun. Goes to the sideline, and it's caught. Nice play as Andre Caldwell gains 9 yards on 3rd and 7 in front of Drayton Florence.
Now, Andre Caldwell is the forgotten man with Terrell Owens and Chad Ochocinco. As you see, Terrell Owens draws a double coverage. Florence can't get over the top. That was a pick play that worked to perfection for the Bengals. Terrell Owens running up to run a pick for Andre Caldwell. That doesn't happen very often.
First down and 10 at the 48. Benson. And Marcus Stroud brings him down. He gains 4.
And now with a 3-point lead, and you know the Bengals realize no reason to come out and start throwing this football all over the place. Cedric Benson back in there running extremely well. Marvin Lewis, you get these teams that haven't won very much, they get a lead, and man, they just seem to hang on for dear life.
Benson 17 carries, 83 yards, and a 1-yard touchdown. 2nd and 6. Benson again. George Wilson coming up from the safety spot and makes the tackle. And that's a 2-yard gain.
And George Wilson coming on the rush off the left side of the offense.
Well, that'll make it 3rd down and 4 at the 46. As you take a look, Buffalo has not been good, Steve, in the 3rd quarter.
No, they've allowed more points than anybody else by a wide margin this season.
3rd down 4 at the 46. Bengals 6 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. Shipley in motion. Palmer looks, finds him. This kid's got a nice game.
Yeah, he's a very good slot receiver. He's along the lines of Wes Welker and the rest of those guys you see around the National Football League. Pierre Garçon, Gonzalez in Arizona, in Indianapolis. And I think with Carson Palmer has so many weapons at his disposal. As you see here, they go no huddle trying to catch the Bills, but so many weapons on this Bengals offense. You wonder why they haven't been more productive.
1st down and 10 at the 38. Palmer throwing on 1st down. Looking.
Whoa!
T.O. goes up high and drops it right through his hands.
And that is for those fans in Buffalo who have watched Terrell Owens. You know that's a little bit of a problem with 81. He'll make phenomenal plays, but he'll drop one once in a while.
2nd and 10. Benson trying to get outside and goes down at the 31. That's a 7-yard gain. Dante Whitner coming up and making the tackle with Reggie Torborg.
It's a chance for the Bengals offense to keep the Bengal defense off the field after being banged up in the 1st half and even into the 2nd.
3rd down 3 at the 31. Palmer in the shotgun. Shipley is in the slot at the top of your screen. The speedy receiver out of Texas. He's a rookie. Palmer looks his way. Throws down the sideline. T.O. Oh! Touchdown! T.O. But a flag. A flag.
In the backfield of the Bengals, there's a flag. So Drayton Florence wants a penalty because he feels Terrell Owens pushed off him to jump.
Holding, offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
As Andrew Whitworth, the left tackle, he's just gonna, right at the top of your screen, Kyle Williams comes to the outside. He just pulls him down right in front of Carson Palmer right here. You see Kyle Williams and Carrington running a game on the right side and just gets tackled.
So it's 3rd down and 13. Bengals need to go to the 28 for a 1st down. Underneath, Ochocinco cuts it. Ochocinco spins and he picks up the 1st down at the 25. Terrence McGee gobbles him up, but Ochocinco with a gain of 17.
Now this is Chad Ochocinco, and the one thing you've got to do, he's working there against Terrence McGee. The thing you've got to do against, I think more so than any other receiver with Chad Johnson, is get in his face right at the line of scrimmage. You got to put 2 hands in his chest and jar him right at the snap.
1st down at the Buffalo 24 for Cincinnati. Benson. Slicing. Benson rumbling. Cedric Benson all the way down to the 5. Make it the 6. 17 the hard way as Troop finally brings him down.
As the Buffalo Bills give up the enormous 3rd and long. Look at the blocking right at the point of attack. All the Bengals find a Bill, put their head on him and start pushing, and Cedric Benson finds the open area.
20 carries, 109 yards for Benson and a touchdown. Cincinnati inside the red zone now. 1st down and goal at the 7. 11th play of the drive. That started at the Bengal 36. Benson. Again, out of bounds. As Paul Posluszny tracked him down. And he gains 2 yards on the play.
Bills trying to set the edge of their defense. The Bengals doing a good job of not letting them. Right here you see Kelsey, who throws Whitworth off him and then gets caught inside. Watch as Kelsey throws the right tackle off. Whitworth, usually the left tackle, playing right tackle in their heavy formation.
Bernard Scott replaces Cedric Benson. 2nd down goal at the 5-yard line. Palmer rolling out of the pocket. Palmer in trouble. Throws. Incomplete.
Wow, outstanding job by Carson Palmer avoiding the rush. Kyle Williams finally did get him down by the ankles, but Palmer with the play fake. Kelsey can't hang on, and then Kyle Williams hustling to the play. Palmer knows he's got no shot and throws it out of the end zone. Smart play by the quarterback.
That makes it 3rd down and goal at the 5-yard line. Ryan Leonard checks in at running back, standing right next to Palmer. Palmer in the end zone, picked up! George Wilson! Can he get down the sideline? Palmer pushes him out of bounds! What a play for Buffalo! Carson Palmer with the saving tackle, and the Bills are back in business again.
The Bills drop off into coverage and zone it off, and George Wilson steps right in front of Terrell Owens and gets down the sideline. Palmer never saw him.
56-yard return. What a game in Cincinnati. 31-28. Buffalo with the football now after the George Wilson interception at the Cincinnati 49. They run the reverse, the double reverse. Donald Jones. And Jones will get back to the line of scrimmage. Keith Rivers with the tackle. Let's take another look at the interception.
Well, George Wilson right in the center of your screen. He kind of follows in behind the inside receiver and stays out of Palmer's sight line. And when Palmer lets it go, he steps back to his right, and Palmer ends up chasing him down the sideline. George Wilson, once a wide receiver in the NFL, now he's been playing safety.
2nd down and 9 at the 48 for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Out of the shotgun. He reverses his. Fitzpatrick wants to run, and he scampers out of bounds. Looks like he picked up a 1st down. We talk about a turn of events. That's a gain of 11. Buffalo down at one time, 28-7, with 10:10 to go in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, and battled back, stayed with it. Got some help from some interceptions and some penalties, which the Bengals have been cursed with their entire season. And now Buffalo back in it big.
Chan Gailey's team has outscored the Bengals 21-3 since being down 28-7 with 10:10 to go in the 2nd. 1st and 10 at the 37. Donald Jones in motion. Fitzpatrick rolling, throwing underneath. Martin with the catch at the 21. That's a 15-yard pickup.
The Bills are really having some success with moving Ryan Fitzpatrick out of the pocket, rolling him out. Watch, they just forget all about David Martin as he just sets down in the zone and turns it up the field. Great play, great look by Fitzpatrick.
1:22 to play in the 3rd quarter. Ryan Fitzpatrick faced with the 1st down now at the Bengal 22. Fred Jackson. And a nice open field tackle. Chinede Ndukwe. The safety comes up and makes the play. And if you weren't with us earlier, Bengals having some problems at the safety spot.
Yeah. Ndukwe and Reggie Nelson having to come in and play safety when both starters are out. And Freddie Jackson, you can see there, his leg got caught underneath Ndukwe. He's in some discomfort on the sidelines, and that is bad, bad news for the Buffalo Bills football team.
So that makes it 2nd down and 12. Quentin Gaither comes in at running back. Here's Gaither with the seam. And Gaither gets close to the 1st down. Tom Nelson brings him down. Bills with some injuries in the backfield.
Yeah, Quentin Gaither comes in. Brand new player for Buffalo. Only been there a couple of weeks. Nice run up inside. Gets a block from McIntyre. But you're right, C.J. Spiller already out of the lineup for Buffalo with a pulled hamstring, not able to help. So they bring in some guys to help out. Now they may need him in a big way with Freddie Jackson hurting.
31-28 the score. Coming up the 4th quarter from Cincy. Welcome back to Cincinnati. We start the 4th quarter. We've got a barn burner, 31-28 Bengals. But the Bills are knocking on the door. 3rd down and 1. Inside handoff. And it looks like they'll pick up a 1st down.
That play was run by Jehu Kalkrick, who was brand spanking new on the roster for the Bills just today. Guy from Clymer, New York. Led them to 4 straight Section 6 titles. People in Buffalo know what I'm talking about when I say Section 6. And there he is, a local guy.
Big smile on his face. 1st down Buffalo at the Cincinnati 11. Fred Jackson back in. Play fake. Fitzpatrick. Incomplete. Intended for Stevie Johnson. Nice hit by Reggie Nelson.
The Bengals did a nice job of being ready for the bootleg out of the backfield by Fitzpatrick. And right there, he's open for a moment. Fitzpatrick, because of the pressure, had to avoid the pressure before he could let it go. So he's a little late on the release. Gave Nelson a chance to knock it away. Nice hit.
2nd down and 10 at the 11-yard line. Fitzpatrick really having a terrific 2nd half. Very accurate. Fred Jackson, the receiver, in the slot at the top of your screen. Fitzpatrick looks that way, in the end zone! Touchdown! Stevie Johnson again!
What a great catch and throw by Stevie Johnson and Ryan Fitzpatrick. These two guys practiced together as backups. They were impersonating teams like the Bengals, the Patriots, and the Dolphins, and they got used to it. And Stevie Johnson told us on Friday, he says, you know, in practice, nobody cares if you throw an incompletion, so Fitzpatrick was willing to try things, throw plays to me that he wouldn't throw in a game, and he got confidence in it, and that's a definite sign of that.
Extra point up and good. First lead of the day for Buffalo. 35-31. Welcome back to Cincinnati and the NFL on CBS, where more people watch the NFL this season on CBS than any other network. A look at the scoring by quarters as the ball comes off the tee once again. But when you look at how this game started, Steve, and where it is right now, what a turn of events.
It really is. The Bengals looking to drive down and put this game away. Carson Palmer throws the big long pass to Terrell Owens. Looks like they're going to go back up big, and all of a sudden, no, it doesn't happen, because back here, Andrew Whitworth, the left tackle, pulls Kyle Williams to the ground. It's a holding penalty. It leads to this throw into the end zone, picked off by George Wilson down the sidelines, and subsequently Stevie Johnson, the back of the end zone, with a sensational throw from Fitzpatrick. And the Bills unbelievably, after being down 28-7, are now up 35-31.
Steve Johnson and Ryan Fitzpatrick, and their last 21-plus point comeback back in '97 against Indy when they trailed 26-0, ended up winning the game 37-35. Lindell sends it away. Scott. What a special teams tackle, Antonio Coleman. 35-31, here comes T.O. and the Bengals. Welcome back, 35-31, Buffalo with the lead. Now Cincy has to dig down deep. First down at the 26, Palmer ready to let it fly, steps up the bomb, T.O. Incomplete.
Yeah, he pulled him down too.
George Wilson covering.
There's a lot of familiarity down there with Terrell Owens in this defensive backfield. They practiced against him every day last season. Watch as George Wilson turns for this. Terrell Owens just pulls him down. Right there, see there with his arm, just real subtly with his right arm, just pulls George Wilson's arm back to make sure he can't gather the ball in.
Second down and 10. They give it to Benson. And Benson goes backwards. Finally slung down at the 21. No gain. Ryan Scott with the tackle. And you can build your own football dynasty and compete year-round with CBSSports.com. Franchise football. Find out more at CBSSports.com/franchise. Third down and 10 at the 26. If you take a look at the franchise, it's Carson Palmer. He needs a big play here. T.O. at the top of your screen, Ocho Cinco at the bottom, being guarded by Drayton Florence. Palmer to the sideline, incomplete. Chad Ochocinco was wide open. Carson Palmer isn't even looking for him anymore, which I find hard to understand.
Yeah, Carson Palmer was looking towards Shipley and Owens and completely missed Chad Ochocinco at on the backside of that route.
He was wide open across the field.
And I don't think there's any question that the Bengals have some dysfunction on their roster because of the presence of Terrell Owens. Not that he's been a bad guy, but because he demands some attention from the football. I mean, I think it's caused some problems.
And this punt off the side of the foot of Huber, out of bounds. It goes out of bounds at...
What a huge stop for the Bills defense.
Wow.
And a horrendous punt from Huber.
A 23-yard punt.
You know, Chad Ochocinco has had double coverage for 10 years, and I don't know why all of a sudden that means you can't throw to him.
First down and 10 to the 49. And this ball caught by Johnson, and he's bottled up and taken down. But getting back to your point, as Leon Hall brought him down, your point on Chad Johnson and his relationship with Carson Palmer with the addition of T.O. has changed.
Well, you knew that Terrell Owens was going to change the dynamic, and let's face it, Carson Palmer doesn't want to be another quarterback that ends up with his life being miserable because Terrell Owens isn't happy. You look back at Jeff Garcia and Donovan McNabb and the guy and Tony Romo, guys that Terrell Owens, Trent Edwards in Buffalo last year. You don't want to be a guy whose life is miserable because you got an unhappy Terrell Owens. So he's getting his extra share of footballs, no question.
Second down and 11. Fitzpatrick down the seam again, and it's caught this time Lee Evans. Dhani Jones stops him, but it's a gain of 18, and Ryan Fitzpatrick and Chan Gailey are eating up these Cincinnati backup safeties.
Well, they've stopped getting good pressure on Fitzpatrick, mostly I think because they've decided to move Fitzpatrick around. On that time, they did not move him around, but the Bengals didn't have a plan for it, and Fitzpatrick is carving him up in the second half.
Fitzpatrick has thrown for 3 straight touchdowns on 3 possessions, 1 to Donald Jones and 2 to Steve Johnson. He's getting close to 300 yards passing today. Play action. Fitzpatrick over the middle, wide open. Stevie Johnson, touchdown. 32 yards.
And the Buffalo Bills have exploded all over the Cincinnati Bengals. Ryan Fitzpatrick, after throwing 2 interceptions, one for a pick 6 and getting a 3rd interception negated by penalty, comes back and does this. Stevie Johnson goes across the field, pops wide open. Nobody sees him. The safeties, the backup safeties, are just lost back there, and Stevie Johnson's making them pay.
3rd touchdown reception for Stevie Johnson. 4th touchdown pass for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I tell you what, folks, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing some football. 21 of 34, 316, 4 touchdowns, 42-31 Buffalo. Ryan Fitzpatrick talking to his head coach, Chan Gailey. 42-31. What a performance by the Harvard men in the second half.
And what do you think Cincinnati Bengals are looking at their former backup quarterback carving them up like this?
Bernard Scott back deep. Starts from the 1. Crosses the 20 and is ridden down at the 24. And it's a 21-yard return for the Bengals. Tuesday on CBS. And NCIS Safe House is attacked. Now the hunt is on for Trader. Mark Harmon stars at TV's #1 show, NCIS, Tuesday, only CBS.
This defense for Cincinnati's got to be looking at each other going, what is going on? They were all over the Buffalo Bills in the first half, and something has changed. That guy's playing better, I know that.
First down and 10 of the 24, though, for Carson Palmer. Empty backfield, Benson in motion. Palmer pulls it down, wants to run. And Palmer will pick up 2 yards on the play as he's tracked down from behind by Chris Kelsey. A 3-yard gain, actually.
Good coverage down the field, only a 3-man rush. Palmer sees it, and because there's 8 guys in the secondary, there's nobody to throw to. Chris Kelsey athletically getting after Palmer, hold him to a shorter gain.
Second down and 7 to the 27. Here's a pitch. Benson. That's the play developed. Nice run by Cedric Benson as he gains 5 yards. Paul Posluszny with the tackle, and that will bring up 3rd down and 2.
Yes, Benson's such a strong runner. He's got the ball. When he gets the ball in his hands, it seems like he weighs more, he's stronger, he's faster than he really is.
Now he goes out of the game on 3rd down and 2 at the 32. Ryan Leonard replaces him. Palmer scrambling. Shipley, nice catch, first down. As he gets to the 42-yard line, gains 9. Reggie Corner with the tackle.
You know, Shipley's just too shifty. As you see there, he fights between Owens and the defender guarding him. When you've got that much time and a guy with the quickness of Shipley, he's gonna get open. There's just no question about it. Unless you bracket him outside in, he's going to get open. You can't bracket him with the other guys on the field that the Bengals have.
4 catches, 62 yards for the rookie Shipley. First down. Low snap handle. Palmer looking. That ball deflected by Posluszny. But Ochocinco broke inside. Looked like the ball was thrown toward the outside.
Yeah, and he really had no chance to catch. You see him slip there, but that ball was not going to be caught by Ochocinco. Posluszny was underneath it. Palmer never saw him. And we talked a lot about that to Marvin Lewis, about where Chad is going to be and where he's supposed to be. Does he get the right depth? And sometimes he's not the perfect route runner. He gets open a lot, but not because he runs the right route. Sometimes he just goes to the area.
Draw play. Benson with room. And Cedric Benson gets to the 48 and a half. Alex Carrington grabs an ankle and brings him down. That's a 7-yard gain. Benson 24 carries, 123 yards and a touchdown.
That is such a huge play on 2nd and 10 to get 7 yards out of your running back on a little draw play. He's just so quick up in traffic. He's so hard to bring down. You see the Bills players getting a grip on him and they just can't pull him to the ground. He drags them for a 7-yard gain, which is huge to bring up a 3rd and short instead of a 3rd and long.
3rd down and 3 at the 48. Here's Palmer looking, batted down at the line of scrimmage. Marcus Stroud has had a terrific game. Now the Bengals have a decision.
Yeah, nobody's moving. They're not going to punt this away.
Down by 10.
Yeah, I agree. You got to stay on the football field. You've been too successful offensively on the day to think you can't pick up this 4th and 2. Now it's 2, 4th and long, or 4th and a long 2. So it's not like it's a 6-inch thing you got to pick up. But I think at this point, Marvin Lewis is doing the right thing.
4th down and 3 at the 48. Trips at the bottom of your screen. Ocho Cinco up top. Shipley's been the man on big situations. They throw it to him, 1st down. Wow. This kid is a terrific football player. 9-yard gain on 4th and 3.
Well, they bring him in motion, and what that does is it makes sure he has a free release. The defensive back can't get a jam on him and stop him from running up the field because he comes in motion. And you see there, Reggie Corner has got pretty good coverage, but man, just a tight throw and a tight route.
1st down at the 43. Benson. And Benson will gain a yard on the play. As Lusney, Williams both in on the tackle.
Yeah, the fans, you can hear the fans just a smattering of boos because they're really worried about the pace of this drive. You know, with 7:32 left in the 4th quarter, you know you got to score twice to win this football game. And sooner or later, they're worried, the fans are worried that the Bengals are going to run out of time, and you kind of got to think maybe they've got a point.
2nd down and 9 at the Buffalo 42. Palmer, Shipley, and incomplete.
It's 7 minutes to go now after that play. I think the Bengals have their whole playbook. You can use the running game, you can do all that. What it's going to come down to is your defense getting a stop, and that's what the crucial thing is. Both these teams have full complement of timeouts. 7 minutes is an eternity in a football game. Marvin Lewis knows the running game is still a factor in this game, particularly with Cedric Benson playing as well as he has.
3rd down, 9 at the 42. Bengals 9 of 13 on conversions. Ocho Cinco up top. T.O. in the slot at the bottom. Now Shipley comes in motion. Palmer. He's got Shipley. But it's T.O. that drops the football. Drayton Florence on the coverage.
Yeah, on that route, it's hard to tell whether he was throwing it to Shipley or to Terrell Owens. I think he was throwing it to Owens. Both these guys, Owens is going to go here, and Shipley's going to go to clear it out for him up the field. Now watch, Shipley's going to go right up the middle. Owens will come in right behind him, and Shipley, yeah, Shipley knows that was for Owens, no question about it, and it was behind him.
So Marvin Lewis gambling again. 4th down and 9 at the 42. Biggest play of the game for the Bengals with 7:01 to go. Palmer looking. Palmer by time. T.O. caught. 1st down Cincinnati. On 4th and 9, they get 11.
Well, you can say what you want about Terrell Owens. This is a great catch on the sidelines, but this play was made by Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer's ability to break, contain, and buy time for all these receivers on a 4th and 9 was the difference.
1st down at the Buffalo 31. Benson back in the game. Palmer's going to let it fly again. Palmer dumps it over the middle. Benson in space. Benson gets a block and goes down to the 24. Paulson Palmer quickly getting the Bengals to the line of scrimmage.
And yeah, you're right. He changed his mind. Now he's going to huddle up. It looked like to me he was going to go no huddle too, because the Bills were making wholesale changes on their defensive front, and Palmer decided no, it wasn't worth it. He went ahead and huddled up. The Bills got a chance to run some fresh pass rushers in there. We'll see if it makes a difference. The defense has always been able to run fresh guys in. Offensive linemen don't get to rest. We'll see if that happens here.
2nd and 4 at the 25. Palmer out of the gun. Pump fake. Looks. Batted down. Reggie corner.
They got a little pressure up front, and that led to this. Reggie Corner working still against Shipley. He's got a hold of him. No call there. And I think that's a little lucky for the Bills that he didn't get called. And there you see Arthur Moats, coming in on the pass rush, trying to get some pressure, and does.
14th play of the drive, but more importantly, the Bengals eating up 5:58. Down 42-31. Palmer down the seams. Incomplete as Shipley gets rocked on the play by Dante Whitner.
That was a good play by Whitner as well. He didn't lead with his head. He came in the new rules of the NFL. Shipley's great out and up, a nice little question mark route, and Whitner comes in, hits him with his shoulder, and that's great. And I'll tell you what, Chad Ochocinco with a little hesitation here comes wide open down the sidelines, and he's standing all by himself. And Palmer had already thrown the football, but I think right here they're going to go for it, 4th and 3. There's nothing wrong with taking a field goal here if you're Cincinnati.
Welcome back. And they bring in the field goal kicker. They're going to go for the points.
Yeah, their regular kicker, Mike Nugent, injured. This Aaron Petrie was signed just this week. This is a crucial. I agree with you. You got to score twice anyway. This means you got to get a touchdown and a 2-point.
Good snap. Clean hold. It's up. No good. Wow.
And the fans here don't like it because they know they're down by 11 points, which means you got to score a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. You see there, he starts it down right center, and it curls out to the left. The wind's probably a little stronger than we thought. But that was the right move, I think, by Marvin Lewis. You're not going to get that many opportunities to score. You got to get the 3 points at some point just to send it into overtime. And if you're down to a 4th and what amounted to 4th and 4 yards, you've already converted 2 of them on this drive. I think you're going to the well once too often. Of course, the kick went wide, so it's all academic.
So the Bills take over at their own 33 with 5:28 to go. Here's the run. Fred Jackson. Now in this situation with Buffalo, with the lead 42-31, do you think this Bills team will throw the football, or will they just run it and rely on their defense?
They'll just run it with an 11-point lead. They know they still have a 2-possession game. And the Cincinnati Bengals will stop the clock right here, doing it outside the 5-minute mark. And I don't think the Buffalo Bills will put this ball in the air at all, despite the success that Ryan Fitzpatrick has had here in the second half. They're going to run this football because the clock is on their side. They're going to force Cincinnati to use all of their timeouts. They'll punt the ball away down deep into Cincinnati Bengals territory, and then they'll just force the Bengals. Even if they give up a touchdown to the Bengals still have to kick it off to them, even if it's an onside kick. So it's the right thing to do, to play as conservative as you can in this situation. I don't always think that way, but in this situation, conservatism is the best route.
Second and 11. Here's the run. Fred Jackson gets outside. Fred Jackson. First down, Buffalo. And some. That's a huge run for the Bills.
That's enormous, and he stays in bounds and forces. I believe he stayed in bounds. But that's exactly what the Bengals could not allow happen, is a first down. They've got to stop the Bills, and here Freddie Jackson on the bend play, hand off to the right, break it back to the left, and a broken tackle there and he just fights his way down the sidelines. You see all the Bengals are jumping in trying to get the ball out of there, and the ball and the clock still runs. And there you have it. The Bengals just watching as the clock runs inside 4.5 minutes before this snap.
A 26-yard run for Jackson. First down at the Cincinnati 42. Jackson again. And Cincinnati will call its final timeout. Don't forget, folks, coming up next, the game you've been waiting for is Peyton and the Colts renew their red-hot rivalry with Tom Brady and the Patriots. More people watch the NFL on CBS this season than any other network.
You know, this game, Gus, is about a couple of things. The Cincinnati Bengals have a great collection of talent. The Buffalo Bills don't have all that much talent, but they got a pretty good football team. And in my opinion, in my experience, the team always beats the talent. And even when the talent is much greater. I mean, the Buffalo Bills have very few tremendously great players on their team. They don't have guys that are on the covers of magazines. They don't have guys that are on late night talk shows. They don't have guys that are in reality TV. But today they were a better football team, battling back from being 21 points down than the Cincinnati Bengals and their collection of great players.
2nd and 9. Jackson. And Jackson tackled from behind by Keith Rivers. But how about the combination of Ryan Fitzpatrick and Stevie Johnson?
Well, it started out here. Stevie Johnson gets into the end zone, and then this great throw from Fitzpatrick, a risky throw, and then the defense completely forgets about him as he gets in for his 3rd touchdown. These two guys exploded in the second half, gave the Bills a chance to get back in it and then eventually take the lead. And they are really, really a solid pair.
3rd down 7 at the 39. And Jackson wrapped up. Johnny Jones with the stop. So with 3:29 and counting, Buffalo will punt it away.
And they'll completely wait for this clock to run down. They may even take a delay of game penalty. They're not even moving on the sideline. The punt team stands there. Brian Moorman around Chan Gailey and Bruce DeHaven. They're not walking on the field until the officials call them. You know, the Bills may take their first time out, or they may take a 5-yard penalty even to move it back to the 45-yard line. And there it is, the 5-yard penalty.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
You got Brian Moorman, who's a Pro Bowl caliber punter. He can put it anywhere he wants it. And if it's me, even though, you know, you think about it, he hasn't punted once, so this is his first punt of the day. But this is a guy that almost, you know, if you're playing conservative, Gus, you tell your punter to punt it over the top of the scoreboard in the end zone.
Make sure he kicks it out of bounds. Quan Cosby will get a chance to return one for the first time.
Well, the thing is, no matter what you do, don't let him catch it and run with it.
Foreman drills it over the head of Cosby and into the end zone. So Carson Palmer and the Bengals will start from their own 20. Now this week, Dave's all new with Jerry Seinfeld and Medal of Honor recipient, Staff Sergeant Sal Junta. Plus tomorrow, Jessica Simpson, followed by Craig Ferguson, only CBS.
Yeah, they have no timeouts left. 2:42 in the game, and they're down 11.
Giants, tell the 43. Hey, watch the sling.
Palmer underneath, incomplete. Flag on the play, intended for Shipley. Reggie Corner once again knocking it down.
Thought he'd made a clean play there.
Pass interference defense, number 27. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Yeah, well, boy, I don't know. He put his left hand up on the shoulder, but didn't really pull him. He just took it right off. I think it's a bad. I think that's a ticky-tack call on a guy that didn't really gain an advantage and pulled his hand off. That was a great defensive play.
First down and 10. Picked off. Florence again. And that should be it. Third interception of the day for Carson Palmer. Excuse me, third turnover of the day for the Bengals.
You'll watch as Palmer drops back. He's going to throw this into a crowd. Gresham can't get up for it. And as Florence goes up for it, he just grabs it and decides just to go down, which is the smart play. And as rare as it's been, a long time in coming, the Buffalo Bills at the end of all this may get a chance to kneel down on it. For a team that had a lot of interceptions last year, you can see it's been a long season so far.
And Jackson dives down inside the 30-yard line. Carson Palmer. And the Bengals with some serious chemistry problems on this team.
You know, it's amazing too, Gus, because you see the talent, particularly in the first half of this game. You see how potent they could be, and it just isn't there.
2-minute warning. Some happy Buffalo Bill fans here at Paul Brown Stadium.
The second half has been the story.
Second down and 4 at the 30. Jackson running. Jackson first down and south. Fred Jackson! Exclamation point! 30 yards!
And the Bengals defense just caved in. You'll watch as Freddie Jackson gets this pick. This ball moves out to the outside. Gets a big block, maybe a hold from Jonathan Stupar to get to the corner. No penalty.
Extra point is good. So after giving up 31 points in the first half, the Buffalo Bills have hung a half 100 on the Bengals.
Yeah, they pitched a shutout defensively in the second half as well. The last 7 times that the Buffalo Bills have scored 40 points in the game have all been on the road.
Bad loss for Marvin Lewis.
Bad loss. And after that last missed field goal, it looked like the Bengals were ready to take it to the locker room, and they're ready for this last 152 to be gone. And the Bills would like this 152 to carry on for the next 3 days.
Back-to-back wins for Buffalo.
Well, we had it
last week.
We had it in our tools to victory today. Thank you, sir. May I have another? And the Bills got it. The Bills got another victory. After losing so many in a row, they get a little win streak. The smallest of win streaks. And yet, they put it together today. I got to tell you, it's impressive for a team that have won one ball game coming into here, being down 21 points in the first half, to battle back and win a game of this magnitude. It really is something. I think you got to tip your hat to the players and the head coach.
The Bills have scored 35 straight points. As Liddell kicks it off. Caldwell from the 5. And Caldwell gets up to the 29. Let's take a look at the game summary, folks. Ryan Fitzpatrick, slow start, 2 picks in the first half, including an interception, return for a touchdown, but then after 18 of 26, close to 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns.
And there's a guy who sat behind Terrell Owens all of last year waiting for his opportunity. Got in this year finally when the deck was cleared to be the alternate guy to Lee Evans. And he didn't know then that the starting quarterback would be his old running mate from the practice squad while he was standing on the bench, Ryan Fitzpatrick. So he gets in, Ryan Fitzpatrick gets in, and they're having a great season.
Jordan Palmer comes in the game now, the backup quarterback who is also Carson Palmer's younger brother. 7-yard gain in his 3rd season out of UTEP. They look like twins almost.
Yeah, they do. They're hard to tell apart. The number on their jerseys, the only difference, it seems like they're built identical as well.
Leonard trying to get out of bounds. And does, as he is upended by Reggie Torborg. Clock stops at 1:12, 7-yard gain.
And you think what the rest of this season will hold for the Bengals, what the offseason's going to be, the future of Chad Ochocinco, Terrell Owens.
Tell you what, when looking at Chad Ochocinco, Carson Palmer's not even looking at him. Chad Ochocinco was wide open numerous times. I mean, wide open.
You can see the frustration on his face.
And he has a legitimate beef. He's been the go-to receiver in this town for 10 years. And now his quarterback isn't even looking at him. Cosby with the catch. Dante Whitner brings him down.
Caught 1 touchdown today, but you're right. From our vantage point, and I know we're not playing quarterback. He popped open a couple of times that looked like were going to be big plays, and you look back to see where the ball was, and it had either already been thrown to the other side of the field, or the quarterback hadn't even looked at him.
Chris Kelsey with his 2nd sack of the day. 36 seconds and counting, and there's Chan Gailey. Has battled adversity this season, getting their first win last week, and now a big, as another sack comes up, this time Brian Scott. Bill's just bringing everybody, and that should do it.
Yep.
Big second half for Buffalo as they come back and defeat the Bengals 49-31, scoring 35 unanswered points. Buffalo has now defeated Cincinnati 10 straight times.
The Bengals have not beat the Buffalo Bills since 1988 in the AFC Championship game at Old Three Rivers.